Hello everybody. So amperometric titration. This lecture is going to be somehow long because whole amperometric titration topic I am going to cover in a single lecture. And most of the thing what we are going to study in this topic are same as that of the previous method. Okay, potentiometric titration. So as we know that during potentiometric titration, potential is measured between an indicator electrode and reference electrode. There was one indicator electrode, okay, dropping mercury electrode, another was a reference electrode, that is saturated calomel electrode. In such a titration, the potential must be measured accurately near the endpoint since delta E upon delta V is a maximum at the endpoint. Amperometric titration, the current which passes through the titration cell between polarizable indicator electrode, that is dropping mercury electrode, and non-polarizable reference electrode, that is saturated calomel electrode, is measured as a function of volume of titrant added. That is measured as a volume of titrant added. So, what is the basic principle? So the polarographic method can be used for determining the equivalence point of a titration provided the analyte or titrant or product can undergo reaction. Either analyte or the titrant or the product can undergo the reaction at the microelectrode. Okay, according to Ickowick equation, the diffusion current ID is proportional to the concentration of electroactive species present in the solution, right? If some of the electroactive material in the solution is removed by the interaction with the reagent, the diffusion current will decrease. This is the fundamental principle of amperometric titration. Fundamental principle of amperometric titration. Okay, so diffusion current at an appropriate applied potential is measured as a function of volume of titrant added. The end point is the intersection of two lines giving the changes of current before and after the equivalence point. Before and after the equivalence. Okay, so here only we are using platinum electrode. Okay, the reason is because for the oxidizing agent which can attack the mercury. Okay, in that case we need to use the platinum electrode rather than rather the technique is same as like a previous one, potentiometric technique. Okay, so this is what only the difference over here. And the electrode was devised by H.A. Alintinen. Okay, H.A. Alintinen and M. Kolthoff in 1941. Okay, so many amperometric titration can be carried out with a dropping mercury electrode as the indicator electrode, or a reaction involving oxidizing agent that can attack the mercury. Okay, a rotating platinum electrode can be used. Okay, means the oxidizing agent will affect the DME for the potentiometric titration, or where we are now going to use the platinum electrode. The rotating platinum microelectrode consists of glass tubing, okay, and that is 15 to 20 centimeter in length and 6 mm in diameter. The platinum wire extends 5 to 10 mm from the wall of the glass tubing. Okay, the electrode is mounted in the shaft of motor and rotated at the constant speed of 600 rotation per minute. Electrical connection is made to the mercury covering the platinum wire. Okay, so okay, let me read this and then I will explain through the diagram. By means of stout copper wire passing through the tubing. Okay, the rotating platinum electrode was devised by, already I told you, the two scientists are there. See now, this is what the mercury reservoir. Okay, so this is what the glass tube. Okay, here is a copper wire connected to the mercury reservoir, and here is a hole stem to make electrical contact with the mercury in the reservoir. Okay, this is mercury reservoir, and here is a platinum wire. Okay, so Now this can be rotated. This can be rotated. In potentiometric technique, as we were measuring the diffusion current, there where we could not rotate after the solution. आपण ते करू शकत नव्हतो. Okay, but here we can. Here we can. Now, see, this is what the arrangement. This is a microburette from which we are going to add the titrant. Okay, nitrogen gas we used to flush for removal of the oxygen. Okay, due to avoid its interference. Then here is from where the nitrogen comes out along with the oxygen. Here is a indicator. This is a reference electrode. This is the indicator electrode, right? And here is a jacky by which we can adjust the applied potential to the testing solution. Okay, here is a shaft, and here is a motor or rotor. We can say in microburette. Okay, here it is. So here it is the experimental solution, titration cell in which the solution is kept. Okay, now see. A microburette is provided for adding the titrant, the experimental solution. जसं आपण burette वापरतो तसं तिथे microburette आहे. If strong oxidizing agent are involved in the titration, a salt bridge is used to connect external reference electrode with the experimental solution. Okay, kept in the titration cell, which is in the form of beaker. Titration cell is a beaker. Stationary electrode can be used along with the magnetic stirrer for stirring the solution during the titration. Okay, the titration technique. Experimental solution is first deoxygenated with the help of nitrogen, which we are going to flush for 15 to 20 minutes or about 30 minutes, and the flow rate is a 200 centimeter cube per minute. Okay, so by moving the sliding contact on the potentiometer wire, the sliding contact, that is a jacky J. This is what the jacky on the potentiometer wire HI, we can maintain the applied potential. Okay, so that is possible over there. Now the potential is then kept constant. Okay, and the current passing through the cell is measured after each addition of titrant. Titrant जेव्हा जेव्हा तुम्ही ऍड करा, titrant जेव्हा जेव्हा तुम्ही ऍड करणार आहात, तेव्हा तेव्हा त्याच्यानंतर काय मेजर करणार आहात? काय मेजर करणार आहात? करंट मेजर करणार. The sensitive galvanometer measures the current passing through the cell during the course of titration. The addition of titrant installment dilutes the experimental solution to a certain extent. Due to the dilution of solution, observed current is smaller than if the volume of solution remain unchanged during the titration. Hence, the observed current is multiplied by the correction factor, that is capital V plus small v upon V. So small v is the volume of titrant added. Okay, capital P is already present, that is your solution or the analyte solution. Okay, to minimize the effect of dilution on the titration should be at least, titrant should be at least 20 times more concentrated than that of the solution being titrated. The volume of titrant added is small, and hence the microburette is used to ensure the precise addition. Nitrogen gas is passed to remove the oxygen from the solution. So here what we are going to do, we are going to plot, the diffusion current is value are found to after each addition. Okay, and as solution is stirring, so in this case we are going to plot a graph versus the volume of titrant added. So what happens here? What are the advantages of this technique? The diffusion current, which is 20 times larger than that of dropping mercury electrode. This is what one of the benefit of this technique. As the current is larger, so even a small concentration can also be detected with the more accuracy. Okay, and hence the use of rotating platinum microelectrode makes the amperometric technique more sensitive and accurate. Okay, so it can be used for the positive potential up to 0.9 volt, whereas the DME can be used up to plus 0.4 volt only. Okay, the electrode is simple to construct. Okay, so nature of titration per we can see here 3 types are there. Okay, see now reactant as a reducible species. म्हणजे करंट कोण दाखवतोय? रिॲक्टंट दाखवतोय, बरोबर ना. जे जो आपल्या फ्लास्क मध्ये आहे टेस्टिंग सोल्युशन है ना, जसं वरतून टायट्रंट ऍड कराल तसं त्याचं कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन कमी होईल, कारण का तो रिॲक्ट होतोय कोणाबरोबर, टायट्रंट बरोबर. आणि जेव्हा त्याचं कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन 0 होईल, कोणाचं, जे की टेस्टिंग सोल्युशन घेतले तुम्ही बीकर मध्ये है ना, तर ते टोटली रिॲक्ट झाले कोणाबरोबर, जो टायट्रंट तुम्ही वरून ऍड करताय. मग then after that the current will remain constant. Now this point of intersection will give you the end point of titration. Okay, in this case. So this is what example you can see here at the bottom, that is written ampermetric titration curve for Pb2 plus versus SO4 minus. So this is Pb2 plus is a reducible here. Now titrant is a reducible species. In that case what will happen, जोपर्यंत याच्यामध्ये तुमचं सोल्युशन जे आहे ना रिॲक्शन फ्लास्क मध्ये, त्याच्याबरोबर टायट्रंट रिॲक्ट होतोय, आणि जो करंट दाखवणार कोण दाखवणार आहे, टायट्रंट दाखवणार आहे. तर तो रिॲक्ट होतोय म्हणजे याच्यामध्ये कुठपर्यंत रिॲक्ट होईल, जोपर्यंत तुमचं टेस्टिंग सोल्युशन इज अवेलेबल इन द रिॲक्शन फ्लास्क. once the testing solution or the analyte solution or analyte is get finished or get totally reacted with the titrant, now only titrant will remain over there. In fact, the titrant is showing the that is a reducible species, that is going to show you the diffusion current. Okay, so here the point of intersection will give you the end point. So curve of Mg2 plus versus oxime, Mg2 plus versus oxime. Okay, so they are giving here Mg2 plus ion with the reducible 8 hydroxyphenolene, that is oxime. Okay, now both are reducible, means whatever present in the flask, okay, whatever present in the flask or the reaction solution, or you can say testing solution, the analyte solution जे अगोदर घेतलंय तो रिॲक्शन दाखवतोय, कुठपर्यंत दाखवेल, त्याचं कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन 0 होईपर्यंत. आता पुन्हा जो वरतून टायट्रंट टाकतोय ना, तो पुन्हा काय होतोय, आता तो फक्त टायट्रंट राहतो आहे त्या ठिकाणी, दॅट इज अ रिड्युसिबल स्पेसिस. नाउ दॅट विल शो द इन्क्रीजिंग करंट. ओके, सुरुवातीला करंट डिक्रीज होत गेला, कारण बोथ वेर रिॲक्टिंग विथ इच अदर. नाउ द पॉइंट ऑफ इंटरसेक्शन विल गिव्ह यू द एंड पॉइंट ऑफ titration. So example for this titration is the titration of Pb2 plus ion with the P2Cr2O7, potassium dichromate ion. Okay, in this way you will get the graph over here, because here both reactant and titrant are the reducible species. What are the advantages? It is more accurate, then it is less dependent on the capillary characteristic. Okay, substances like Mg2 plus PO43 minus SO42 minus, okay, which are non-reducible substances that can also be determined, then it is very simple to use. Okay, it can be performed, okay, in the cases where solubility does not permit the potentiometric or visual indicator method. For that purpose also this method can be used. The limitation is only co-precipitation, which occurs simultaneously if two metal ion are getting precipitated. In that case there may be the error. Okay, now the precipitation titration, in DME we can study these metal ions. All these are given, for which these are what the corresponding titrant. Okay, with the help of rotating micro electrode, these negative species can also be determined with the help of AgNO3. This is what the advantage of using rotating platinum electrode. So for the redox titration like Fe3 plus versus V2 plus and vanadium 2 plus, they gives this product. But it is observed in this case that till the end of titration, the ferric ion is a active species. Okay, it is found that up to the end point, the diffusion current is proportional to the concentration of Fe, okay, 3 plus ion. Okay, and the ferrous and ferric. Okay, 2 ions are there. So now the complex formation reaction. See here, the reducible metal ion concentration decreases during the complex formation, but the complex ion form is not reducible. Hence, we get the curve in which the diffusion current is decreasing till the minimum or till the end point. Okay, after that the current will remain constant. Okay, and that will give us the end point of titration. Okay, In amperometric electrode, like a rotating platinum electrode are used as a micro electrode, and that will be the more advantageous. So amperometric, again, I'm just telling you that amperometric electrode like a rotating platinum electrode or rotating platinum micro electrode are used as a micro detectors in liquid chromatography to monitor the illusion of reducible species. So chromatography, different chromatographic techniques are there that we have already studied. Column chromatography is there, paper chromatography is there, thin layer chromatography is there, then high performance liquid chromatography is there, gas chromatography is there. So such a different techniques are available. So especially in the column chromatography or gravity column, we can say the technique is used to study whether our desired species is coming out of the column or not. Okay, so that comes under the column chromatography. So this is all for this lecture. So from the next lecture, I'm going to start a second unit, that is the methods of separation. And over here, you are going to learn the technique of chromatography. Okay, that point came over here. Okay, chromatography. So thank you.